Hi everyone, welcome to the first session of Pals and Paws Education Live. Today we're going to be making frozen dog treats. You could also make something similar for cats. Just make sure that you use wet cat food and cat treats if necessary. So the materials that you're going to need for today is canned wet food, and then some crunchy dog treats are also helpful if you want to make some decorations or add a little bit of texture in there. We actually are going to be using some sugar-free waffle cones. So a Kong toy is great if you want something reusable. You would just stuff this with dog food and then freeze it overnight. But the same can be done using sugar-free waffle cones. And the dogs can eat the entire cone, so it's a nice little extra special treat if you'd like to do that. And then the last thing that you'll need are just spoons or a fork, something to help you stuff all of the dog food into the Kong or ice cream cone. And just a heads up, this project can get a little messy, so that's why I have paper towels on hand, or if you have newspaper or towels, it might be a good idea to lay those down on your surface beforehand. That way it'll catch most of the mess. So, to get started, you're just going to want to take an ice cream cone, and like I said, just make sure that they are sugar-free waffle cones, just because if you want your dog to be able to enjoy them, no sugar is a good thing. And they are delicate, and that is George, my assistant today. He won't be helping too much until the end when he gets to enjoy this. So once you have a cone to work with, you're just going to open up either a fresh can of food or some old food that you're trying to get rid of that's been in the fridge. And you're just going to take it spoonful by spoonful and pack it in there. Like I said, you want it to be nice and compact. So I wouldn't go in for that second scoop until I feel that this is pressed down into the cone as much as possible. And then I'll do the same thing. Then just to make it a little more interesting for the animals, you can take a crunchy, dry treat, break it up into little pieces, and sprinkle those in there. Just so there's something a little different. I know you're ready to help, George. So then you'll take some more dog food, pack that down as much as possible. And you can probably do a couple more. Unlike a human ice cream cone, you don't want to overfill these because you're going to need to put them in your freezer overnight. So you don't want them too full and then they make a mess in your freezer. So just about one. Might add another little dry treat on top, just as a little decoration. George is ready to eat it, but he has to wait until it's frozen overnight, because when you freeze it, it'll take the dog a lot longer to get through the treat. And the whole idea here is to make an enrichment item. Enrichment is an activity made for an animal to help them express their natural instincts or behaviors. So it could be something as simple as an ice cream cone frozen with dog food, or you can stuff treats in boxes and kind of like a Russian doll. The dog will have to go box after box finding the treats. But it's basically a puzzle or a game to keep an animal's mind and body active. And it's great for our shelter animals here. They need that extra stimulation whenever possible, but also great for animals at home. Everyone enjoys some kind of activity that'll help keep them busy. So we'll make one more just as an example for you guys. So let's see, let's try using a little bit different food. So sometimes there's two different textures for wet food. Either one works. Like I said, it can get a little messy, so just be prepared before you start the project. But same thing, where you're going to take the food and stuff it into the cone as much as possible so it's nice and compact. If it's too loose, the dog will just eat right through that in a couple of minutes. And the idea is to keep them busy for a while. We want them to be using their brain, how can I get this frozen food out of there, use their body, how can I, position the cone so that I'm getting the most food out possible. So, yeah, that seems pretty compact. And I can add some dry bits. So that looks nice and compact. It's about level with the top of the cone. Then for something a little extra special, I'll put a couple of dry treats on top. Oops. So now these are ready to be put in the freezer, and then after a couple of hours, or usually overnight is the easiest, they'll be completely frozen and you can give them to the dog. Where did George put our Kong? So, as I mentioned, the same can be done with an empty Kong. These are reusable and can be purchased at any pet store. So since our lovely assistant George has been waiting so nice and patiently, I'm gonna give him this pre-frozen one to enjoy. Here you go, George. No, you gotta eat this one. Come on, buddy. Come on. He wants attention more than food sometimes, but I'm sure he'll enjoy his Kong in a little bit. Come here. Ah, George. Oh, you silly boy. Come here. Yeah, go ahead. You can make it. Yeah. Come on. Do you want the Kong? I think George is a little excited from being the center of attention, but he can just lick this whenever he feels like it. It's frozen, so if you see me touching it, unlike the wet food that's fresh, it's a lot harder. It's really compact in there. It's not going to go anywhere until he really gives it a lot of effort and licks all of the food out. So we'll just let him have that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy making your own frozen pet treats at home, and feel free to call us at Naperville Area Humane Society if you have any questions. Thanks so much.